Hi, I'm Nick Armstrong, and this is Dear Fort Collins. It's a podcast designed specifically to discuss issues in and around Fort Collins, featuring experts from the city and county and elected officials. It's designed specifically to help make you a more informed neighbor of Fort Collins. This particular series of this podcast, I am interviewing city council candidates for even-numbered districts. I ran for city council back in 2021, and I know how hard it was to connect with every single voter and help spread the word about what my campaign stood for and why I wanted to run. And so I wanted to give each of the candidates their chance to get in front of you in this podcast in a medium where you might be comfortable, you might be sitting on your couch or driving in your car, able to listen to the words from the candidates themselves and get to know them a little bit better so you can make a more informed choice as a voter. Now, I do serve on the Parks and Rec board for the city of Fort Collins, as well as the Box Elder Sanitation Board and my neighborhood HOA board. I am not here in that capacity. I am here as a private citizen, hoping to make my fellow neighbors more informed about their choices so that they can go to the voting ballot and know who they're voting for and why. With that being said, let's bring in our candidate. And we're here with Julie. Julie, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Julie Pignataro, and I am the current City Council representative for District 2, and I am running again for re-election.
So Julie, why are you passionate about Fort Collins, and what motivated you to run for office?
Thanks, Nick. So I have been here for around 30 years, and I came out here for college and didn't pay much attention, as many college students do. And then as I basically spent my adulthood here, saw a lot in the early 2000s that I did not like in council, some mudslinging, on vote trading, like weird stuff that you kind of expect at the national level. We don't want it at our local level. And so part of the reason I wanted to run is as that exacerbated nationally, coming up to 2016, like many people, I was like, we need some normal people to get into office. And so I was very excited to run and win my first term. And I am so proud of what we've done so far. Things that have changed. We just passed a code of conduct so that no longer the biggest bully up there wins, because that's the way things have been for a while. We changed the ethics rules so that if someone has an ethics complaint against a council member, instead of their other council members being the judge of that, it actually goes to an outside attorney to look at. So these are all things that I think our local government needed to change, and I'm really excited to have been a part of it, and I want to keep on going.
So can you share a specific project or an issue that you'd like to tackle if you're reelected?
Yeah, absolutely. So Vision Zero was the plan that we passed just this past year, and it was a couple of years in the making. It's based from Switzerland, and it is about imagining zero deaths on our roadways. So as we've had quite a few tragedies in the last few years here in Fort Collins, I think that now is more important than ever, and we need to put some resources, some money, and start working this plan. So as an example, on some of our more busy roadways, these would be actual separated bike lanes. So we've got bike lanes there. A lot of people don't use them because it is still very, very scary. So that's just one quick example of something we could do quickly and move along into the deeper parts.
Julie, what makes you uniquely qualified to represent District 2?
Yeah, I came out here for college in the early 90s, and I have had many roles in the city, just as my different places as a resident. So I've been a renter, I've been a homeowner, I've lived in 17 different places around here. So I've seen all different parts of the city. And I've also had quite a few jobs around here. I've worked in restaurants, I worked production, I worked in retail, and my current job is I work from home and in cybersecurity, which is great. So as a working mom, I think I bring a different perspective of really working for our families and to make sure that this is a great place to live for all of us.
Who do you consider a role model in the realm of public service, and what did you learn from them?
So many people. So this is a tough one to choose, because I really I love like Joe Neguse, even though he's at the federal level, he is here all the time, and he is opening and welcome. He remembers your name. He knows what you're about. It is great. I don't know if he's just got a great staff behind him to remind him, or if his memory is that awesome, but it's wonderful. But I think of all the other ones, for me, who's been a real mentor is actually Kristin Stevens. As when I joined council, this was the first time it was a female majority on council. And having someone there who'd been the only female on council for a while, it was really great to hear her perspectives. And she was a good mentor in that way, as well as helping you figure out the ropes, etc. As well as she's always been an advocate for people running for office. If you want to run for office, you just call Kristin. She'll have lunch with you, tell you all about it. And she's open. I don't know. I just think she's great. She's a collaborator, huge builder. I could just keep going. So I'll stop, because like if she watches this, she'll be like, oh my goodness.
If you could have any superpower to help your community, what would it be?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. And I choose time travel because I think it would be awesome to be able to go back in time and look at some of the policies that have been put in place and see if there was a way to tweak them so that they maybe were like a little less, had some unintended repercussions, shall we say. On the flip side of that, could be great to go to the future and make sure the policies we're putting in place now that were, very thoroughly researched and everything, there always can be something you don't see. So I would love to see that, to make sure we're doing the right thing. Now, keeping in mind, because I am a sci-fi geek as well, there are many dangers to time travel. And so like when I thought about this question, I was like, oh God, Terminator, like no, or 12 Monkeys, like you can't. So anyway, all those things make it the best one, I think, and yet.
What is one piece of advice that you've received that you didn't take, but you wish you had?
So this was from my first run, and this was from another woman I know in Denver who ran for office. And she said that campaigning is like being pregnant, in that everyone has advice for you. And at the end of the day, you need to take the advice for what works for you. And you have to prioritize your mental health and self-care, as well as remember that you are responsible for, someone else who's going to be coming into this world. So with that, with campaigning, everyone has advice for you. And ultimately, you just have to be able to make sure that you're doing the right thing, treating everyone kindly, and that you can sleep at night.
Julie, is there anything else that you want a listener to know? And where can we learn more about your campaign?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So my website is Julie for FC, and that's for with FOR. So julieforfc.com. And there is a ton of information there. I have a great team that helped put that together. I am just super excited. It has been such an honor to serve this district for the last 4+ years because of the moving of elections. I would love to finish it out, and we're only allowed 2 terms, so would love to do it one last time. It's just been so great. I've met so many people, had so many different experiences I never would have before, and I've just gotten to love this city even deeper.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you're enjoying this series of learning more about your city council candidates. It's so important to get out there and vote, and do so from a place of comfort, knowing that you're voting for who you chose and why you chose them. I'm Nick Armstrong, and I can't wait to see you next time.